Rene and Tita Bautista are under the D12 of Pastor Glenn and Dr. Ellen Obligacion, and they have always shared and been supportive of his direction in Kamanava Q, namely Caloocan, Malabon, Navotas, Valenzuela, and Quezon City area. This submissive attitude of the couple was passed on even to their D12. By God's grace, the group under them grew in number, and their desire to obey the Great Commission through different ways of bridging events and Bible study nights prompted them to conduct biblical foundation classes in the second floor of a resto bar in the heart of Monumento, Caloocan City. Ironically, attendees have to pass by the first floor where customers dine in with alcoholic drinks on their tables before proceeding to the venue, but because it was for free, the group took advantage of the opportunity. Pastor Glenn would be faithful in driving all the way from his Pasig house to teach once a week. What started in 2003 went on for 2 years. Since then, the group knows that Sam's Diner is temporary, and they were always on the lookout for a more conducive and favorable place. Then PPI building came, which was located at the Pag-ibig building along Edsa, Caloocan. With the blessing of CCF Maine for the purpose of leadership development, the place was rented and construction was started. In 2007, everyone was excited. D groups were held there and weekly Bible studies as well. But no worship service yet. That too stopped because all the members, especially the D group leaders, were challenged to attend the newly launched Global Leadership Center. Their batch, being the first to complete up to the GLC4, graduated with flying colors, with hermeneutics and apologetics class as their not-so-favorite subjects. But up until today, everything has a purpose in God's agenda. Then, there were the silent years. Still, with several attempts here and there to find a place, the desire slowly drifted, and each D12 leader to his own D group meetings, week in and week out. But as the center was about to be opened in May 2013, their group was tasked by the current Exalt Pastor Glenn to lead the host team. By God's grace, the brethren in their D12 responded together with other D groups and members of his area. Eventually, more volunteers were touched by the Lord to take on the call to serve as ushers in the center. After a year, the Lord once again revived in the heart of Pastor Glenn and their group the desire for CCF Quezon City, being one of the biggest cities and highly populated places in the metro. In one of the Council of Servants meeting at MMRC, a more serious burden to champion a CCF satellite church in that area was impressed on him by the Lord. In a span of 2 years, several attempts were made. North Edsa is teeming with people only slightly away from Caloocan, but is very strategic in its location, where both SM and Ayala meet and where the MRT station starts. Negotiations started for the block cinema in SM, but was too expensive for just a once-a-week event. The Dome was the next option, but weekends were not guaranteed. The launch team started meeting weekly with Pastor Glenn at the center to discuss details. The SM deal seemed not to be working, so they checked out other locations, some of which were in a mall in Banawe and another one in E. Rodriguez. The many changes caused the excitement to be dampened. Then came another location at the top floor of Fisher Mall basketball court. Everything seemed to be working. The rent, the space, and even the location, but just when the deal is about to be closed, SM North Edsa offered the whole 5th floor of the newly built SM North Link building. There were many trials, humps and bumps, and even frustrations along the way, both individually in the lives of the leaders and even in the passion that needed to be rekindled in their hearts. But finally, by God's grace, as He used and touched the hearts of many donors and sponsors, and with the full support of CCF Maine under Pastor Peter Tanchi, CCF North Edsa held its very first worship service last October 9, 2016. By faith, the 2-week delayed video from the main worship services did not hinder worshipers to faithfully attend. God's perfect timing. He showed them that He will supply and provide everything for His glory and kingdom. Before CCF North Edsa, God made sure that the character of each servant was honed through trials, the DNA established, submission tested, and skills were developed through different ministry involvements and training in the center. Indeed, Christ's commitment and faithfulness never end. CCFNE. God's promise is true, as He said in the last part of Matthew 28, verse 20, "And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age."